everyone, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and this is eCrystal TV. So today's episode happens to be super amazing because I decided to move away from the music and dive into an amazing and incredible sector of art, which is none other than poetry. So I decided to find something that I feel is underappreciated, and this is something that we all need to look into, because poetry is an amazing art, it's an amazing craft. You get to express a lot of things and you get to tell a lot of different stories just with poetry itself. So today I'm joined by an amazing poet, Njamba, and he's gonna educate us with the experience that he's had so far as a Zambian poet, and how his journey has been, and all those other amazing stuff. But before we get deep in this video, do not forget the credit for the video goes to 6 studios. So I'm talking amazing photos, I'm talking incredible videos for all your events. I'm talking kitchen parties, birthday parties, chilangamlilo, all those amazing events. Look no further than 6 studios, and as usual we leave the information and every other description right in the description box, so you can just look them up and check them out.
I want to tell you a story because I think your story can be my story can be your story. Facts about me: I am short, but trust me, my family looks up to me. And it's not funny that you look down on me. I am short, which means I am terrible at long conversations, and I fear love. We say love never fails. So I have been suspecting that mine was marked by a mean examiner. You can guess what happened. My life is a hospital with unpaid nurses. It is full of sadness. My anxiety is a beach. It never settles. The beach never settles at shores. And this is my dark, black story of me quietly, quickly quitting on quitting. And these are the pieces, picked parts from the picked pieces parts. We say life is a teacher. I guess I skipped most of its classes. The reason I failed to pass its exam. Pain is offering GCE, which I am scared to repeat.
So I have my guest for today, and ladies and gentlemen, none other than Chris Njamba. Hi Chris.
Hi.
Nice to have you today.
Good. I'm glad to be hosted by you.
Great. So who is Chris Njamba?
So Chris Njamba is some guy who is trying to become what he has been hoping to become. So I can say I'm always striving to be better than I am today, than I was yesterday. So I think I'm always becoming something different.
And looking at what you do, somebody would wonder exactly, so how do you define your art being poetry?
Yeah, so aside from me becoming all that stuff, I am a poet, a spoken word poet.
Good. And
also a page poet. Yeah, so yeah, I do that for living.
There's like spoken word and page. I mean, how do you differentiate the two?
There is page poetry. Page poetry is poetry that is just good for the reader, so the reader will be enjoying the poetry that is on the page. But spoken word poetry deals more with the active listening. There has to be the listener, and then the way you deliver, that's what intrigues the audience.
Okay, so let's say we are in school and you ask the question, what is poetry? How would you define it?
For me, poetry is a feeling that freely flows. So we use poetry to express our emotions. We use poetry to speak to society. We use poetry to communicate. Poetry is a language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's some amazing stuff. Is it just anybody that can be a poet? I mean, can I be a poet today? And wake up and just say, I want to be a poet today.
Yeah, actually what I say is that everyone is a poet, but the question is how to be a poet.
How to be a poet.
Yeah, everyone is a poet because every day we use poetry, even those that are not poets, but they do not realize to say, okay, that's poetry. For example, if you say, she looks like a chicken, already, already that's poetry. Or you say, she is a chicken. In poetry, that's a metaphor. It means that person is a coward.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's actually something that somebody would take offense in. You look like a chicken, but it's still some poetry.
Yeah, it's something deep. Yeah. So
how long have you been doing this, the poet thing, and how's your experience so far being a Zambian poet?
So I've been in poetry for 12 years in total.
Wow.
But that is separate. There's the part where I was doing recital poetry when I was in school, from grade 8 to grade 12. And then when I went to college, that's when I ventured into spoken word poetry. So part of it was me doing recitals, where I was just reciting poetry that was written by other people in schools. We participated in NASAs actually. And then when I went to college, I ventured into spoken word poetry from 2017 to date, and that's what I've been working on. Yeah, so there are challenges that we encounter as poets or poetry in general. At the moment, we are trying to get poetry back into society.
Back, like it was there and then vanished.
Yeah. Actually, poetry is a very old form of art. In Zambia, in Africa, and the world at large, but somehow it lost its value, especially here in Zambia. People lost that appreciation of poetry. When you talk about the people in West Africa, the Somali, way back they used to use poetry for war. In an instance where this community is at war with the other community, instead of sending soldiers, they would send a poet from this community and the poet from the other community, and then they come and compete.
So it would be like
dialogue,
competition, just talking.
Yeah, with words.
Okay.
So that was the dialogue which used to be there. So the challenges that we encounter as poets could include the issue of finance and basically support from the people, because there are a few people that follow poetry. So we are trying everything possible to get poetry out there. Yeah, and then even writing is also not easy. You have to put in a lot of practice, a lot of research. Sometimes, like when I was coming here, I was writing a poem, just something popped up. But when I write that stuff, it will be something that is just rough. So sometimes I just write raw stuff, like I pour all my emotions, and then later on, that's when I edit those emotions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if given a chance, how would you improve poetry as an art in Zambia for people to actually acknowledge it the way that they acknowledge all these other arts?
Okay, so in my capacity, I've been hosting shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. I've been hosting shows, and also I go to TV stations. I've been following different TV stations, and I've been putting my work on Facebook and on YouTube, because now things are very easy. Yeah. All you need is just a phone, and even if you do not have, you can ask from your friend.
Ask from anybody. All you need is just some access to the internet.
Yeah. When you do that, you put your art there, and then people will be able to follow. So all you have to do is bring content which people will be able to vibe to. So as poets, we have been trying to do that. We've been putting up a number of shows so that people can be aware to say, oh, there's this form of art. Yeah, and we've been using different media, different platforms. We also use poetry to advocate, like when we see that there's corruption, there's transparency, we can use poetry to speak to those things, just like music.
So how does one get to reach you? Let's say I woke up today and maybe I know somebody in my area who's good at what they do, and they do some recitals, some spoken words, or page poetry, as you may call it. And then I feel like that person's talent and skills like could be appreciated even more. So how does that person reach to you? How can you help out such a person?
Okay, so recently what I've been advocating for is unity among poets, because I think to some extent there could be, lack of a better term, selfishness, whereby Chris wants to be famous, he wants to be known through poetry, and forgetting other people. But I'm thinking if we work collectively, we'll shine together, because the sky is too big for individual stars. So I've been trying to bring a lot of poets together. So I recently started a group called Ndakatulo Poetry. In February, we hosted the first poetry slam. So a poetry slam is a competition for poets, where poets come and compete, and then there is some prize money to motivate that poet. I like that because I think it challenges the poets to up their game.
Yeah, even I would actually become a poet if I hear there's a prize out there.
Oh yeah. So other than the prize, I think when you lose, you have that pain to say, I want to do better next time. Yeah. So we are open to other poets to come on board, work with us. If they want to organize a show, they can invite us, we go and support them, or they can come to our shows. And if poets are able to work together, support each other, it will be easier for people that are not in this industry to come on board, seeing that they are united. Unity always attracts the other part of the community. So if poets can come to us, or they invite us to go to their activities, we are glad to do that. And we also conduct lessons to coach other poets, because we think there's need of that. If people are to love the art, then we have to vanish the art for people to see, to say, oh, this stuff is actually beautiful.
I think I'll be attending one of your classes very soon.
You're welcome.
Okay, so how do we find you? A Facebook platform? How do we reach you? Contact your place or anything like that?
Yeah, so I have a Facebook page, which is Chris Njamba.
Okay.
Yeah, so when they just search for Chris Njamba, they'll find my Facebook page, and then follow and like the page. I also have the YouTube channel by the same name, Chris Njamba, and also on Instagram. I'm yet to start TikToking. I think that platform could be very good for poetry.
It is actually good.
Yeah, it's for videos, and I think people would easily relate to the content.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I bet we all learned a lot from the show today. And anything more, for further information and all of that, do not forget to look up the platforms that is mentioned, and worry not, because I'm gonna add them all in the description box so that you guys can look him up and learn more about poetry as an art. And don't worry, I'll be reciting some poems next time on the show. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you for having me.
Good. So that's been the show for today, you guys. I hope you've learned a lot, because I have learned amazing things that I never knew about poetry. And do not forget, our poet and guest for today was none other than amazing Zambian poet Chris Njamba. So you want to look him up, you can just follow him on his Facebook page, and he'll give out all his other information in the description box. So this is amazing. I hope you have learned, and I have learned so much as well. So you're an upcoming artist, or you want to engage yourself in any of the artistic stuff in Zambia, and you feel you're good at poetry and you want to jump into something that suits you, something that speaks your language, so look no further and just meet up with the guys. You can link up with them, have those one-on-one conversations and learn more things about poetry that we just got to learn today. So Do not forget again, the credit for this show goes to Six Studios. Amazing photos, amazing videos, amazing cover arts. You're an artist who wants to have an amazing visualizer made for your new song. These are the right people you need to see, so look no further. The last time we had the show here, we actually mentioned that if you're a new uprising artist and you want people to know your work, you want people to listen to your music, so you can just send in your music to us, and make sure you send the music before Thursday so that we can have you on the show. Maybe you can also have you join us as our guest and we can interact with you. So much more to do. So do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, leave your comments down below, and share the link with anybody. I hope you enjoyed it. So this has been A Crystal. See you next time.